Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I'm here to give you a tutorial on how I assembled this loaded envelope that I made, and I hope you watched that video where I actually shared 3 of these that I created. And I use this die set right here, which is the journal pocket page. So this is the die set that I use. So from this die set, you're going to need the main piece, which is this one right here. And then you're going to need this piece, which is the layering piece to that. And then I also used, obviously I use these for the shaker. And then I also use this to add as an option to use it as a layer in the back. This piece right here. But I don't know if I'm going to do that to this one, but we'll see. So what you're going to start with is you're going to cut 2 pieces of this one right here. So you're going to go ahead and choose whatever you want, and that will create this pocket right here. I mean, this shape right here, and this one, which is the white pieces. And I'm going to be using the Prima paper Luna. And it's this one right here because it's really pretty. So I have already chosen that design, and this is what I decided to do. I'm going to use that one right there. I also have the 12 by 12, so this might have came out from the 12 by 12. And then the layering piece, which is this one, you're going to cut it. You're also going to use cut twice. So this is what I chose. I chose this one, and that's how it's going to look layered. And then I chose this pattern right here. And this is going to be the front of my pocket. So this is what it's going to look like. And then when you're done with that, you're going to make the gussets. The gussets are this right here. You see that? So now you're going to cut 2 of these papers, and they measure 1.5 by 4 3/4. So 1.5, 4 3/4, and then you're going to score at half and then at 1. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so I brought my small scoreboard. So again, I'm going to place it right here at the 1.5, and I'm going to score it at half right there and then at 1. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with the other piece. I'm going to score it at half and then score it at 1 inch. And while I have the scoreboard out, I'm going to grab this piece right here, the one that's going to be your main piece. I mean, the front pocket. So it's going to be this pocket right here. And that one, we're going to place it on the scoreboard. So this is the top and this is the bottom. So you're going to, so from the top to the bottom, you're going to measure 5 1/8, and then you're going to score it at 5 1/8. So this is 5 1/8 right there. And I'm just going to score it. Because this is, remember, this pocket is shorter than the other one. So that's what's, I know it's white, but you can see it. I mean, I know it's black, you can't really see it, but there it is right there. That's the score line that we made, and that is what's going to be, see how, so this is, essentially it's going to be shorter than the other one. Let me show you really quickly. So that's what it's going to look like. All right. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that layer, because this is the layer that this is the pattern that I chose that I want for the front pocket. So we're going to cut this down because it's going to be shorter. So we're going to cut that down to 4 3/4. So this is the top. So we're going to cut at the bottom. Okay. So I'm going to measure this at 4 3/4, which is right there. 4 3/4. And then I'm just going to cut. And so pretty much I'm going to cut this off. And then this, I mean, you can save it for something else. And just let me show you really quickly what it's looking like so far. And you can see that there is pretty much even spacing. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the pocket, which is going to be the front pocket. Remember, that's the one we made that score line. I mean, you don't have to do this part, but I did just, I think it's to remove some bulk. So where, I don't know if you can see right there, the stitching, you can either cut along that stitch line or you can cut on what's supposed to be the score line. So I'm just going to give it a rough cut. Just like that. Pretty much I'm removing that tab from the bottom. And I'm going to adhere this to the front. And I'm going to use my liquid glue. You can choose double-sided tape or liquid. Also, I just want to tell you that you can also choose to add another layer in the back. And that's optional. I didn't do that with any of them, but the only thing is that, for example, this one on top, because it is pretty snug, when I insert this inside, sometimes it'll get caught in there. But I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I didn't do that with any of these, as you can see. I did not add anything to the back. I'm just trying to keep it as simple as possible. So I'm going to use my liquid adhesive and let's do that. All right, that's done. And now I'm going to do the score lines. I'm going to enforce those score lines where they're supposed to be. So these are the score lines, the ones on the side, the ones that the die came with. This is the one that I made. And obviously this part right here, and I'm going to, you should be able to see it, but I'll mark it with the pen anyways. This part right here, see, this is a score line right here. This is another score line. So pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to remove them. You're just going to cut them off. And I do it, literally what I do is remove that score line so I go further out. So I just do that. You can also do it at an angle, just like that. So that's what that looks like. And then one more time, do the same thing to the other side. And then do it at an angle. And that's what that looks like. Okay, now I'm going to grab the two gussets and I'm just going to do like kind of like an accordion fold or a Z. So it should look something like that. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And so these are going to be adhered just like this. So this one will be adhered like this. Just like that. And then this one, I'm going to make it, oh yeah, this way. I mean, it's directional, but you're not going to be able to see it because it's going to be from the inside. And then, so that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to add adhesive. You can either add adhesive to this flap or add it to this one, but I'll just add it to this flap right here. Oops. And I'm using the art glitter glue. I switch between this one and the berry art glue. I like them because they're not super thick. They're pretty thin. And you have the option of using like this really thin nozzle. So there's that one. And then when you line it up, you're going to line it to this corner up here. I'm going to press down and then make sure that that it's right at the edge, just like that. This is how I like it, right at the edge. Okay, and I'm going to push it just a little bit down because I don't want that white to be showing. Okay, now you can see how it's coming along. I'm going to do the same thing with this side. So I'm going to add adhesive to here, to this flap. Line it up just like that. So I'm going to line it to right at this corner. And I'm just going to press down. So that's what it's looking like so far. And this, what I like about this adhesive is that it dries pretty quick, so I don't have to be waiting on it. So that's what it looks like so far. You can see that right there. There's one end. There is the other end. I'm going to show you how I did this part, even though there are different ways that you can do it. You can attach this now, adhere this now if you like, but I didn't do that because I didn't want this piece to show. I want this to be underneath my layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere now the front panel to the back pocket. So I'm going to add adhesive to this strip right here and adhesive to this strip right here. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to add adhesive here. All the way to the edge. And then adhesive here. All the way to the edge. Sorry if I'm out of frame. I'm using my phone and I'm not used to using my phone. Let's see. Okay. So when I adhere this, I'm going to show you this way. I'm going to adhere it to where this piece right here is above the score line, because this will be wrap around the back. So this is what it's going to look like. So you need to make sure that it's above the score line, just like that. You can see the score line right there. And just make sure that it's nice. It looks nice and straight from the front. And it does. And then just press on it. So I like to press right there, just to reinforce it. Press right there. Okay. And now, that is when, see how you can see the pink? So now I'm going to cover that up, and I'm going to cover it up using that layer. It is kind of messy, I'm not going to lie. It is a bit messy, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to add it all to the edge. I can't add it all the way around in the middle, because remember that has an opening right there, and I don't want glue to get all over. Okay, so now I'm going to slide this in and then layer it as best as I can, and then just press on it. And then since this is still open, I haven't covered this up yet, I can go ahead and add adhesive here. This is up to you. This is just so it doesn't get caught, like whatever I add to here. So I'm just going to press on it. Or maybe the easiest way would be just to cover this up. All right, so that's done. Now for the back pocket, for the back panel, I watched a video from Jen, and I'll link it down below. She has a tutorial on how to assemble the actual pocket. Just a journal pocket, and I used the same measurement that she did, and it measures, so this measures 4.5 by 6 1/8, and so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So this is the quarter, so I'm going to corner all of them, just give it a rounded edge, because these are already rounded. So before I adhere that, this is where this comes in. So remember, this is the front. So this flap from the front is going to hold all of this down, just like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add adhesive. Pretty much I'm just going to add adhesive to this little corner right here. And then this corner right here. I'm going to add adhesive. I'm going to press on it for a few seconds until it dries up. And while that is drying, I'm just going to hold it with these clips. And then I'm going to add adhesive to, actually I'll just do it here. Adhesive to these flaps from the back right here. And so this is where I'm going to adhere that back piece. Okay. And you're not going to be able to see much of the seams because since I'm using the same paper, the same coordinating paper, I mean the same design, so you're really not going to be able to see it. So now let me take these clips off, just so I can add adhesive to this edge. And now I'm going to add this one, this piece right here, and it should be pretty perfect. Just like that. It is a little bit shorter, but I think it's perfectly fine, you guys. So I'm just, and I like that it peeks through just a little bit from the front. And this is how you create that loaded pocket. And now you can cut this piece because since the backing is actually a little bit bigger than this backing, it will layer, this will layer perfectly in the back. But let me show you what it would look like when you do layer it. So here, right, you can see this is what it looks like layered. And then I had previously made a tutorial, but for some reason I can't access that video anymore. But this is what it looks like without the layer. This is just, what I did was I just printed on cardstock and I didn't do anything. I didn't layer it. So it's pretty much the same thing. Not much of a difference. And you can't really tell here that, I mean, I love the way that because I used the same, you know, cardstock, the same design, you can't really see it. And now it is up to you how you would like to decorate this however you like. And in a later video, I'll be sharing these, how the finished projects, so you can just get more ideas. And of course, I am going to make these into shakers. I already have my die ready. This is how I will cut my foam using this piece. I like to use this tape that is perfect for your dies. I get this from scrapbook.com, and that is where my shaker will be at. All right, thank you so much for watching. Hope this tutorial was useful. And if you do make some of these pockets and you share them here on social media, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or here on YouTube, please let me know. I would love to see what you come up with. Bye everyone.